everyone, Cindy and I have a project share. The other day I shared with you the items that I chose from Beebeecraft. I got the stencil pack of 10. I got a package of 15 stamps, and I got this roll of gold trim. So now I want to share with you some of the things that I've been playing with these products. First, I wanted to just play with the stencils because stencils are kind of my thing. I love stencils. I have a lot of them, but I always want more, you know. I want all the stencils and all the colors of modeling paste and all that kind of stuff. So first of all, I had just gotten this Texture Luxe paste from Faber-Castell. It's a real pretty copper, and couldn't wait to try that out. Let's see. But it's very, it is pretty, but it's very liquid when it goes on. And so it goes a long way. Just a tiny little bit goes a very long way. But when I pulled the stencil back, it was kind of messy. And you can see, you know, here and here and up into here. I think this is still very usable, and I will use it, but it's not what I was hoping for. But when I laid the stencil on this piece of scrap paper and used a baby wipe to wipe it off, I kind of like that little faded bit. And I'm going to use that somewhere, even if it's just in an art journal, because I really like that. So this was the stencil I used for that. And then I got out another stencil and some Distress Oxide ink. This is Wilted Violet. Kind of hung up on Wilted Violet, I think. And that turned out very nicely. I had done that on just plain 80-pound Michaels cardstock. So that's what that is. And then I got out this texture paste, which I'd gotten at the same time as the other. This is DecoArt Media modeling paste. And it's real creamy, but it's not the same texture as that copper stuff. This has a lot more, even though it looks like, I don't know what you can see. It looks kind of like, I don't know, it's real soft and shiny looking. It's very smooth, and so I wasn't sure exactly how that would do, but it did quite well with this stencil. And I did that on black cardstock, obviously, because I really wanted to see that white texture paste, and I think it turned out quite well. I think it's really pretty. I'm not sure how I'm going to use that, but we'll see. Maybe not. Maybe I'll just do it myself. I don't know. But then yesterday, I wanted to move on to something else, and I was trying to get my fairy book finished. I've been working on that, it seems like forever. A lot's been going on with, you know, birthdays and celebrations of all kinds and company and whatnot. So, yeah. But I finally wanted to finish that. I was going through it, and I realized I was way short on tags. I needed more tags for that book. So I got a file folder, cut it up, and started making some tags. I got out some Distress Oxide inks. I got, what did I use? I used, I started with Peacock Feathers, Tattered Rose, and I think Broken China was the third color I used at first. Let me get the ones that go with that. No, Wilted Violet again. I'm hung up on my Wilted Violet, like I said. So I just did some various backgrounds, and then I dried it off, and then I added some water and got some nice little interesting things going on. Dried that again. Then I grabbed the texture paste and a stencil. I think for this first play I was using this stencil. And so I put it on. It took forever to dry. It seemed like it probably wasn't. It just, I wanted it to be dry. And I didn't want to use the heat gun. I've seen it, and I've heard other people talk about some texture paste, when you heat them, they'll puff up, and I didn't want that. So yeah. So this is how it turned out after, you know, when it dried, and then I applied more of the Peacock Feathers on top to bring out the texture, and I think you'll agree that's really pretty. Some turned out better than the others, and partly this one I think I used directed paper. I just took the ink pad and smeared across, and it allowed too much ink to get behind the stencil. This one didn't actually have any this is one of the ones. And then this one turned out real well, and I think this was the first one I took the blending tool and went over the texture area, and that turned out real well. So then for the various bits and pieces, like this one is a stencil or a die cut from a die that I got on eBay. This Make Your Own Magic and these butterflies wafting up are from a die or a stamp set from Beebeecraft, from their fairy collection that they put out last year, and I can't think of the name of it, but I'll look and put it in the description, I think. So that's that one. And then this is a die cut, actually two die cuts from that same collection, the ephemera collection rather, than that same set. And just gave her some, regular distress vintage photo on the edges, and put that together, and I'm quite happy with that. This one is one of the stamps from the Beebeecraft set, but I love how the texture paste turned out on this one. So, yeah. Another stamp from one of those that I got from Beebeecraft, the texture paste, and even on this one I used some of that gold trim just to sort of spice things up a little bit. So those are those first tags that I made. And then I needed more, lots of them, so I kept on going. This one, I just took a bigger tag, and I started by gluing some fabric on. I stamped my little fairy up here. I was going to leave her just just the impression, and then I decided she needed some color. So let me tell you how I colored them, and that's why it looks kind of rough. I just used my mini distress inks, and just used the corners of the ink pads to put the color on. And then I hit it with a water brush, and it did spread it some, but mostly it's kind of rough. But then this is, I have this die from Tim Holtz. It's the Viewmaster Distressed disc thingamajiggy, and I just took one of those stamp sets that from Beebeecraft and got the letters out, and I spelled fairy in here. And I think that's kind of cute. So there's that one. This one kind of made me embarrassed. For some reason, when I picked this up, I put it on my craft mat like this, with this part at the bottom, and I stenciled that little heart from that little flower from the middle of this stencil, and I stamped a butterfly up there with this thing at the bottom. It really bugged me, so I flipped it around and put some fibers over top of the butterfly, and I took it and called it a tag. I like how it turned out, but I was kind of annoyed with myself. This one was squeezed lemonade, direct to paper all the way, covered the whole thing, dried it, hit it with some water, added fossilized amber, did the same thing. And then this is a stamp from the tree stamp set from Beebeecraft. It's that stamp right there. And I did it off to the side. And then instead of using the leaves this time, I used the hearts. And I'm real pleased with that. I think it's such a simple yet effective tag. This one, I've used this stamp set with all this foliage. I don't know how much that shows up without something behind it, but we can fix that. So yeah, I used these stamps and a couple of the little leaves from the trim and some Distress Oxide background. This is a tiny little stamp that came with this stamp set. No, it's with the butterflies. That's what it is. So yeah, the butterflies, and I used that on the background with In London Fog. Yeah. Totally gone out of my head. I apologize. So yeah, and then this last one is just more Distress Oxide play. And this is a piece of ephemera. This is a stamp from from the butterfly stamp set, and lots and lots of dilutions, glitz sprays, and this is tatted angels on the flowers. So I am having a good time. I'm going to move on to another project with those as soon as I finish up this book, which I'm hoping will be today. I'm going to put these in the book now and see how many more I need. So please like, comment, subscribe, and don't forget to check out the 200 subscriber video and get in on the giveaway. And I'll talk to you soon.